My name is Henry. Most people call me Hank. I'm 82 years old. And 6 months ago, something happened that changed the way I see my entire life. My closest friend died. His name was Walter. We knew each other for almost 60 years, and when he died, it felt like a piece of my past disappeared with him. Before I tell you about losing him, I need to tell you how we met. It was 1965. I was 24 years old, working nights at a small machine shop in Detroit. Long hours, loud tools, grease everywhere. Walter started there the same week I did. We were both new, both quiet, both just trying not to mess things up. On the first night, the supervisor paired us together, side by side. 8 hours straight. We barely talked, just nodded at each other when something went wrong. At the end of the shift, Walter asked if I wanted coffee. I said yes. That coffee turned into a routine. And that routine turned into a friendship that lasted almost 6 decades. There was nothing dramatic about it. No big moment. Just two regular men showing up to the same place day after day. We stayed friends through everything: marriages, divorces, children, loss. All the ordinary things that quietly shape a life. Walter married Susan in 1968. I stood beside him. I married my wife, Margaret. 2 years later, he stood beside me. Our wives became close. Sunday dinners, card games, long conversations that went nowhere and everywhere at the same time. Looking back, I realize how rare that kind of friendship is. Not exciting, not flashy, just steady. The kind where you don't need to impress anyone. You just show up as you are. We worked together for more than a decade. When the shop shut down in the late 70s, our lives changed. Different jobs, different schedules, but the friendship didn't change. Every Wednesday evening we met for dinner. Same diner, same booth, same order. When my mother passed away in 1982, Walter didn't try to comfort me with words. He just stood next to me. That was enough. When his daughter struggled in her early 20s, he blamed himself. I reminded him of something he once told me. You can love someone and still not control their choices. She eventually found her way. Walter never stopped being proud of her. That's what real friendship looks like when you're older. It's not about having fun. It's about being there when things fall apart. In 2005, Margaret died. Cancer. I was 61 years old and suddenly alone. My children had their own lives. Walter was there every single day for weeks. He brought food, sat in silence, let me grieve without trying to fix anything. After she died, I disappeared for a while. Didn't want company, didn't want conversation. Walter kept showing up anyway. Let's go eat, he'd say, and I'd go. Not because I wanted to, but because he wouldn't give up on me. Years later, Susan passed away unexpectedly. Heart attack, no warning. I drove to Walter's house before sunrise, found him sitting at the kitchen table, staring into nothing. We didn't talk for hours. We didn't need to. After that, we leaned on each other even more. Breakfast twice a week, same diner, same booth. Talking about the weather, the news, sports. Small talk that mattered more than it seemed. As we aged, our conversations shifted. More memories, more reflection. We weren't sad. We were taking inventory, making sure nothing important was forgotten. 2 years ago, Walter started forgetting small things. Names, dates, conversations. Then came the diagnosis. Early dementia. He was scared. Not of dying, of losing himself. I told him what life had taught me. You face what's in front of you. Together, if you're lucky. The decline was faster than anyone expected. Some days he knew me, some days he didn't. I showed up anyway. Same days, same times. Because presence matters, even when recognition fades. 6 months ago, Walter had a stroke. He was gone. 2 days later, I was there when it happened, holding his hand, telling him it was okay to rest. I'm 82 now. I've lost parents, a wife, friends. But losing Walter was different. He was the last person who remembered the younger version of me, the last witness to my whole story. When he died, a part of my history went with him. After the funeral, something hit me hard. I had taken our time together for granted. I assumed there would always be another Wednesday dinner, another phone call, another visit. There wasn't. Here's what I want you to understand. No matter how old you are, real friendships are rare, and they don't survive on intention alone. They need effort, time, showing up when it's inconvenient. People think they'll make time later. They won't. Life gets loud, then it gets quiet. And by the time you notice, someone is gone. Walter and I had almost 60 years, and it still didn't feel like enough. If you have someone who has stood beside you for years, call them, see them. Don't wait. I wake up some mornings and forget. I think about heading to the diner. Then I remember. My kids tell me to meet new people, join something. I don't want new friends. I want the one who already knew me. You don't replace a bond like that, you carry it. So don't take your people for granted. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because one day, all you'll have left are memories. And the knowledge that time doesn't come back. Walter taught me how to be a good friend by example. And now I try to pass that on. Not to replace him, but to honor him. If you've got someone who's been there through it all, tell them today. That moment you're waiting for. This is it. Before you go, I want to ask you for something simple. If this story meant anything to you, if it made you pause or think about someone you love or remember someone you've lost, then you're not alone. These stories exist because real lives are full of moments we don't talk about enough. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, stories about life, friendship, loss, and meaning, then I invite you to stay. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. We post more videos like this, slow, honest, and made to be felt, not rushed. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for helping these stories live on.